everyone. This is your friend Toaster here. Doing a dedication interview. It's about hour 15, hour 30 minutes. This was pre-recorded on 1/28/16. This is a dedication, and I just got confirmation that it's about an hour and 8 minutes long. And if I missed anyone in my dedication in the description, please let me know right away, as soon as humanly possible. Because these people are locked up for no good reason, other than they tried to stand up for their rights and the rights of us. So, without further ado, I am going to play an hour 8 minutes. This is going to be streaming live. I will be muted, and I will probably be operating my computer. So if you hear dings or whatever, I apologize in advance. But without further ado, the interview of Mark White Eagle.
Everything was violated blatantly, and nothing was stood for. Being locked out of the court several times.
What's your site again?
A variety of different areas, okay? Locked out of court, harassed, death threats. The feds came in. At that time, I was surprised, but they came in to go ahead and serve as my protection as a Native American. So like I said, I was just alone as a homeschooler, and like I was deprived of even visiting with my children. Just complete harassment, and it was continuous until the feds finally took action, and they stopped the funding, and they no longer are allowed. And there was arrests from one East Coast to the West Coast, a sting arrest for all these different individuals, doctors, pharmacists, issuing these drugs, illegal drugs, to the CPS of each and every state. And today, like I'm saying, is they have to repay all these funds back. They'll be audited up to about 40 years for all the theft of funds that they took from the Social Security Administration. That's where a lot of the Social Security Administration proceeds have gone, from the wrongful billing or substance abuse.
If you don't mind me asking again, what's your site again?
It's freethechildrennow.wordpress.com.
I'm going to check that out, because I believe I was a victim of that myself, and if I was, then I'm gonna try to bring some lawsuits too, because I shouldn't have gone through that. They stuck me in special ed when I was in the second grade, and I was doing good until they did that. They ran their scientific pharmaceutical crap on me, and I'm sorry for getting angry first of all, but I believe I was victimized, and now just hearing that just makes me even more mad. But yeah, I withdraw my time.
I like to bring out an issue. What they usually do is, if you're incompetent, okay, if you're still judged as incompetent, and you want to go ahead and file an action, the statute of limitations does not run. Now, if you're a sovereign, there's no statute of limitations. I'm a natural-born sovereign. Okay, so like I said, there's no statute of limitations. But if you look up as to, in other words, you can claim your sovereignty as a natural born if you have one drop of Indian blood in you. Refer to the past history of the 14th Amendment.
How does one go about getting tested for Indian blood? Because I've always been suspicious that I've had Indian blood in me, but I've never really done any investigation. How would I go about doing that?
I believe I can get you that information a little later, but if you want that,
sure.
And find what you have, I can give that to you. And I think, let's see, you can go ahead and get in my site and check that site out and look for a 41-page criminal complaint. I went ahead and filed, and like I said, I didn't have any help with attorneys. I had some attorneys I retained. Some were forced on me to gain jurisdiction over me. And like I'm saying, I was surprised that Patriot announced that he had an attorney there, because like I said, normally you don't want their attorney, you want a counselor that's an unattorney, not a bar member of the associated, the association. So like I'm saying, Otherwise, they gain jurisdiction over you, the court. But usually they'll try to play tricks on you to go ahead and put jurisdiction on you. And by one case, they said I was insolvent, and didn't have any funds, and I wasn't even there. And then several times they locked me out of court proceedings, probably about 3 different times. I was locked out and not allowed to go in without even an attorney, period, representing. Then when I had what you call an unprecedented case that I brought up, and the attorneys that I hired intentionally failed to go ahead and file to the U.S. Supreme Court. So, and every avenue, and all of over 7 attorneys, even the prosecuting attorneys, for filing a frivolous complaint, they all lost their bar license, period.
Wow.
So I put it to the hill. And like I'm saying, I even paid one $5,000. He failed to even show. And he never came back, and I never got my money until I filed my claim with the Bar Association, and they had to reimburse me the $5,000 I paid him.
Wow.
And like I'm saying, it was just one thing after another. But every avenue. If you look at my 41-page criminal complaint for racketeering, corruption, and against the system, Social Security system, and wrongful drugging of Native American children, you'll find a lot of information on violations of constitutional law. I've had the opportunity to teach some of the patriots procedural law, constitutional law, and just enjoyed going ahead and sharing the information with them and all aspects. But I knew that through a court system, their court system, you can't get justice.
Wow. It just keeps getting worse.
Pardon me?
I said it just keeps getting worse.
But I had to do it, go ahead and create my own avenue and my own method in order to go ahead and get through. Because through the court system, a lot of court systems, they're biased and prejudiced and discriminating.
Yes, they are. Very much so.
And you don't have a chance. If you're not in a corporation contributing to a judge retirement, which I found that's what they do, you get everyone biased and not a chance against you. But like I'm saying, I've exposed many different avenues of different judges that have gone and been on the corruption side. I put 2 law enforcement, sheriffs in 2 different counties in jail, federal jail, for violations and criminal situations. But like I'm saying, it's knowing your rights, which is the most important. And it's a pathetic thing to go ahead and see that these people have been victimized because of trying to stand up for what the supreme law is, the Constitution. And so, like I'm saying, we get all these victimized people, and after a while they get a little tired. But they're operating in a peaceful manner. I was very surprised, and I like to hear that. I liked hearing that when I heard them talk, that they were, wanting to see that the people were safe and secure, and they wanted to see that there was no violence taking place.
Man.
But the government trying to use force and intimidation, which I've been through with the state government, with threats of death, putting me under arrest, phone calls, the whole bit. That's unnecessary. In other words, they don't want to treat us as humans. We're all actually natural Native American Indians. We all have Native American Indian blood in us. But like I'm saying, is they don't want that. They want to rule us.
Yes, they do.
As their own king. And they want to use fear, intimidation. And that's the example they just gave to us about this poor individual that was shot and killed.
Do you know anything about Agenda 2030?
Regarding?
It's a UN agenda. It has to do with the citizens of the world and how the UN wants to take over and create their own version of a one world government. Look it up on Google. It's publicly available, and it's just sick.
I used to go ahead and use the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, and they said it was inapplicable to us here in the States. because what I went through was a heinous crime against myself, and my children. Period. But like I said, you got to read any of the criminal complaints I filed, and a lot of truths that I have revealed. Okay, it went far and wide, and like I said, I hit World News also as well. You'll see me if you look me under World News, Michael slash Mark White Eagle or Michael Travelino. You'll find me there too, and you'll love to go ahead and see the YouTube video, and they'll explain what I had to go through from beginning to the end.
I thought
and I went on the national TV also.
I thought I knew a lot of what's going on, but just hearing you and the person before you speak has given me more enlightenment to the problems that we as the United States citizens face. And it's a mountain of bureaucracy that was created illegally. Oh.
Correct. That's right. Period. So like I said, the exposure, because of the people, many of the people never knew they were drugging the children to create drug addicts, grooming them for drug addicts in the future. They never knew that. And when it came to me, being I was learned in law, I went ahead and followed through and gave it the vast amounts of power through word and criminal complaints until finally someone listed. Like I said, many of the newspapers don't want to print truth.
No, they don't.
Media don't want truth out there.
Nope.
So like I said, all out of the entire United States, of the many different newspapers I wrote, the many different reservations I wrote, I got no responses, period. No aid. I was alone. One Indian against 50 states. But prevailed against them all because I got their federal funding stopped, all CPS. Well, some people say, well, how can they be dissolved? He says they're still in existence. Well, I says they're no longer getting federal funding, period. And that was the result of that. Okay? Because like I'm saying, they were harming our children. They were placing our children in harm's way, attempting to ruin their mind.
Let's
and
try.
So anything that goes on anymore is not seen or hasn't been foreseen will be exposed.
That's child endangerment, and that's illegal. But you know, there's so much in the system that prevents you from getting to point A to point B to finally get stuff done, that it's like the government's legally allowed to do anything they want, including murder, as we saw the other day, and get away with it. And I want it to stop. I mean, if I do something wrong, if I go out there and commit a crime, I'm looking at jail time. What about them? They're not looking at jail time. They get to sit in their offices free, la-di-la-di-da. I won't go on about that, but I withdraw my time.
So the thing is they get away with it because, like I'm saying, people got to step forward. Like when I first started on my way, I was lucky to get one or two people on my site. Then it started growing and growing and growing. And then when I hit the international homeschoolers and told them my story through that video audio tape, which was about 55 minutes, then we started getting some action. Then I started getting people that would go ahead and back me up. And then when I needed the feds to jump, I used the newspaper and also used the homeschooler association. And they would move to where I led them to. And then I got further and further than that. Then we had a lot of people I had a lot of connections with emails to San Antonio. And a lot of things spread throughout the U.S., period. As I said, I was the one that started the hanging noose for corrupted individuals, if you heard of that.
No.
And then went from there, and then we had a gas war and strike that we did. And I alerted all the people in San Antonio and spread all over the state. And we were getting gas strikes everywhere. We were having people go ahead and run with hanging nooses everywhere. And then they were being threatened from California all the way to New York. And so, like I'm saying, it's a lot of people, weren't aware of that, but I was the one that started all that because, like I said, I was against all corruption in the state, period.
Man, it makes me sad that Texas is putting up with that. You know, I thought better of Texas. Hell, I live here.
I saw a lot of corruption, and like I'm saying, these people that were making money also reported what they're doing in Texas. They had groups that were actually stealing the babies from Mexico. And I made the reports, and they were farming them into New Mexico, from Texas. They had a group holding the babies and transporting and then adopting them out through the 5th District of New Mexico. And then if you want to look up another one that I found and discovered, being I wasn't too fully aware of the computer or didn't use it, I started getting into it. I started finding things that were just adding up pretty well. They were going ahead and using, they were actually transporting those children and adopting them out, making them big money. Like the governor of the state of Texas and Greg Abbott belonged to the, it was the adoption committee. They're all getting cut the money from that, period.
Wow.
So like I'm saying, I knew this Greg Abbott, when he came up for that election, he became governor, he was it, but he wasn't honest up before. So the thing is he's going ahead and he's trying to say, let's separate from the union, right? Well, the thing is he's a Bilderberger. He's a member of the Bilderberger Foundation. Also, the former governor was also a member of the Bilderberger. Well, they're on the same side. So what they have to say is just propaganda. Meaningless. It doesn't mean anything that they say. Like I said, the lands of Texas are they're all international now. So international law rules. And if you want to go to court, you got to go to the Hague Court. That's where we have to go. That's proper jurisdiction.
That's
like
not right.
If these people over there in Oregon, which I was a resident of Oregon, had a child in Oregon, if you go ahead and you want to do something, you have to move the transfer to the proper court. Okay, whether the heinous crime committed, okay, I don't know if anybody's filed charges yet, but I would have filed charges on the murder of the individual and the harassment of these people, because like I'm saying is they've gone ahead and those lands over there are public lands also. That means the people own those lands. How can you forbid the people to move out from those lands? But you start following through with finding out where all these funds have gone to, that they've been making sales for the underground mineral resources. You can get an audit started right away. So I suggest to any of those people over there to go ahead and make the demands to the appropriate trustee of those lands for an audit to see where that money's going to. That's a fraud in itself. They claim to be taking care of those lands for the people, but the people have the right to access to those lands also, irregardless. So they can't just run them out just because there's mineral resources and they want to go and sell them to maybe sell all the mineral resources to China, and they want to. They're already doing the deal on that, and also selling them to Russia, right? So like I'm saying, all that is their profit. So where's that money at? You know, that's a good question to ask. Okay, you need to have that. They need to have that land access to see how much money's being sold on those resources. You know, those people are just hiding everything. That's corruption. The Clintons have been very well in holding back from continuing corruption, because prior to the fact that the time that when the president followed through with getting his presidency election, he went ahead and followed through with selling tainted blood to Canada, Ukraine, and there was a big lawsuit over that. They tried to keep that hush hush. The female Clinton, his wife, right, went ahead and if you look on the internet, you'll find her doing ceremonies for witchcraft and claiming to be a high priestess of witchcraft.
Really?
And oh, definitely. If you look it up, I found it myself. And so, if you want to see some interesting documented evidence, it's in the YouTube. You got some photographs in there on her doing her ceremonies, witchcraft ceremonies as a high priest. You know, it's just most of these people are involved in witchcraft. They're not even. A lot of people aren't even aware of that.
Sounds like
if they're not a Bilderberger member, they're an Illuminati member, one way or another.
Sounds like I got a lot of research to do today. It's just stacking up. Wow.
It's a lot of information out there. You know, like if you look for it, it's there. You know, it's not hidden. And then when Then Clintons, both Clintons went both times to, I forget the name of it, Haiti, and to go ahead and remove curses off of them because they had some curses on them.
Wow.
But like I'm saying, most of these people claim to be Christian, and in reality, that's just a front. I had someone go ahead and tell me the other day, Greg Abbott's great, he's a Christian. Oh, you say he's a Christian? Then I brought up the points and different factors of what had been going on, and they said, oh, I found out the truth. He's not acting Christian.
That's...
Meaning he was not for real.
You know, I had a bad feeling when he got elected. I thought he was for Texas. Well, that's what everybody makes you want to think. And just to go off subject for just a moment, have you heard anything about Texas wanting to succeed and that being on the ballot in November?
No, I haven't heard anything about that, but I heard from some of the groups that they had already filed papers, and it would be a matter of weeks for it to succeed. Also, Fox News, there's an attorney on there that said they would have already had it done, period. And it's been held back. In other words, there's nothing been done, period, at all.
Wow.
And like I'm saying, it's just something to talk about. That's all, to induce people to go ahead and believe in you, so you think something's going to get done, but it's never been done.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's true. But like I'm saying, is that I've challenged judges and had filed criminal complaints on judges, even federal judges, Article 3 judges, and they had such a fear they called the feds on me and saying I was going to attack them and harm them in some way, falsifying reports against me, the whole bit. For upholding what the law is and what the Constitution is. So, like I said, if you look into into that Free to Children Now .wordpress.com, you'll find some of these papers I filed where the article judge just violated the statutory law and Constitution. Period. Failing to give hearings, failing to allow you to argue. Whereas I've had personal arguments in the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals and prevailed on those cases also in the past. So like I'm saying, you follow through with figure your strategy, what your strategy is when you're going to go do something, and you have to subvert any strategy in the past of anyone else because otherwise they'll beat you. And the way I got around to go ahead and bringing this wrongful drugging and substance abuse by CPS was I hit all the federal agencies and filed criminal complaints to each agency. I believe it's probably about 18 around there, approximately 18 different agencies, and that went. They're all out. And like I say, it went forward. Period. But when I hit went on TV in Iowa, well, that went worldwide.
Wow. I'm going to be checking out your site, though, for sure.
Well, don't forget to listen to the YouTube if you have time. It's 55 minutes, and then the catastrophe that happened, and it was where the shootouts for the children occurred was in Colorado, first Columbine shootout. Pay attention to each and every shootout that's ever been around. All these people have been on psychotropic drugs, period. But they keep that hush-hush. And every time there's a shootout, they do not reveal it was because of the psychotropic drugs that caused these children to go ahead and go be outlandish and start shooting. But they're all administered those, and they fail to go ahead and relate that because they don't want any fault finding on any of the big drug companies.
There's so much information out there. I'm thinking about starting my own radio show because I want this information.
Oh, there's fantastic information, but like I'm saying, it's just people they weren't aware. Nobody was ever aware that the CPS and throughout all the 50 states were drugging children.
I didn't. I thought I was just part of the system when I was going through that when I was going through elementary school. I didn't know that this. Like I said, I didn't know.
You were actually being victimized.
Yeah.
You weren't aware of it. And your parents probably believed in them.
They did.
So yeah, they did, and that's why they followed through and allowed that. But like I'm saying, my children never even had an aspirin. Period. All natural. Everything was natural, and they were never sick. When they went into their institution by force, they went ahead and followed through with forcing these drugs on them that were damaging to them. And like I'm saying, is all the allegations after the false allegations they gave was the reason why the prosecutors lost their licenses, because they were frivolous complaints that they filed. And by doing so, my children, they alleged that I didn't educate my children properly. And what happened was, by the time my children got out of their schools, none of them graduated. None of them graduated. None of them got diplomas. None of them not even came out with a GED. I should tell you something. And then I noticed that every allegation I put out, the senators passed a law to circumvent it after the fact. That's ex post facto law right there. And they tried to go ahead, and I was never notified of any of the hearings, period, according to what the law demands. Due process, the law is the most important. It's one of the biggest abuses that they ever had. That's why I was wondering whether then people were ever given any type of a federal Fourth Amendment warrant. I've not heard anything about that. I wasn't aware if they were or not. But the citing of violations of the Constitution, being if it's going to be a federal judge, they should be in a federal court. If they violated the rights of the people, federal rights, that's a dismissal right there. That's an acquittal, period.
That's right.
And that's, like I'm saying, as I heard part of that on the radio, that there was a certain citing of the Constitution. They were outside of line. And if there is a violation of any constitutional violation, any due process, anything, that can go ahead and follow through with dismissing that criminal complaint. And I'm going to imagine that they're going to line them up with probably about, I've seen them go up to 300 years or more, just to go ahead and show them as an example that you can't speak out against your government or you can't work against your government. That's their common practice. So I won't be surprised if they're still incarcerated. Leroy Schwartz, I don't know if you know him.
Nope.
He was one of the members, head members, that was a teacher instructor against the government for filing claims out of Montana. They call them Montana Freemen, and I met some of those in person. And like I'm saying, he was actually right. But like I'm saying, what they did was and when they went to court, I've got some of the original briefs that they have. And when they went to court, both of them presented themselves very well. There were three in there arrested, but then they put him away, and he eventually died of a heart attack like they normally do. They do that to even naturopaths, like they've been killing, to get rid of them because they're a threat to the industry, the drug industry, and the medical association. Well, this man was very brilliant. He was very bright, and he was teaching people how to place lanes the same way that IRS places lanes, without going through the court process. And so, like I'm saying, they did not want that, so they launched an attack and picked him up, and arrested him. Fabricated charges. And then they go ahead and fabricate. And being a jury that isn't really aware of what the law is or learn the law, then they are easily swayed or convinced that the individual was guilty because he did something of a minority thing that was contrary to what law is. They twist everything around. So, like I'm saying, you'll find this happening on a regular basis, and no fairness. But as far as anything goes, I see a heinous crime being committed, and these people would have the rights to take it all the way to the Hague court immediately. Do a transfer. You have to do a transfer within a certain time period. In the federal courts, it's approximately 30 days. You have to do a motion to transfer. It's usually a petition. It's called a petition to transfer and proceedings to the higher court. And like I said, normally the guy that's operating right now to represent them, he has to be a federally admitted attorney. He can be a state attorney that's federally admitted, and that's to be representing him right now in that criminal proceeding. But the proper jurisdiction is going to be the Hague court for the heinous crime. especially in murder. I would have already had somebody, it doesn't matter whether they be a lay person or not, filed a criminal complaint for the murder of that individual and the harassment of these people.
You know, I've been wondering why I suffered 9 heart attacks so far, and I'm only 35. I'm too young to have heart attacks, and I've been wondering if they were doing something to me. You know.
Well, like they've been, I don't know if you're aware of or not, but the government has, they can actually shoot chips from their hidden chips that people aren't aware of. That they use a cloaking material, paint that goes ahead and makes them invisible. And I see some examples of some of the recent saucers they showed on TV from the X-Files, and that's what they really do have. And if you can see them sometimes, depending on the reflection of the sun. Sometimes you can actually see their form or the silver color that they're riding in. I did a research from Roswell, New Mexico one time because I saw some things and found that they had, there was a photograph of an airplane was traveling, and a passenger took a photograph of a disc that was in an airport and it was a USA on it. And I would have liked to have had a copy of that, but I didn't think it was that important, but I found that. And I saw some other things in there that I've actually seen that the government has. And a lot more truth is coming out about it. But like I'm saying, I also exposed the chemtrails. I was pushing for exposure. And I also created medicines that counteract any of those diseases they put into the people. The Ebola virus they drop, the heart exploding virus they drop. They use that overseas in the Middle East. They also have all types of respiratory. I created one combination that runs it right out of the system immediately, very quickly, and you start seeing relief very quick, even a common cold. Then I got some they've actually sprayed. They sprayed years ago, and it was out. They sprayed the AIDS virus over San Francisco, some of the major cities like Los Angeles.
Hold that thought. If you don't mind, hold that thought for a second. Somebody wants to speak. Go ahead, unknown person.
Okay. Yeah. What are you guys? What's the subject going on right now in Oregon?
We still don't know anything. The OregonLive.com has recently put out something. Oregon Standoff Day 27, what you need to know Thursday. But I want to say that that's an unreliable source, but interesting read anyway. It's actually a video, I think.
Why the hell do you guys think it took so long?
I don't know. But
I watched one video where someone was all complaining about getting their knees scraped up or something by rangers.
Have you went to defend your base with no spaces last night at 12 their time? They uploaded a video of them around a campfire.
Yeah, I've seen them.
That's the only information that I got.
Yeah, but don't you think? Wait, are you with this group?
No, I'm actually trying to get the truth out. I'm Bill from Texas.
Okay. Yeah, I just gotta weigh in and say how much bullshit and whiny shit that this has become, and what a waste of money.
I estimate that the cost is roughly around $10 million that they spent on this, having all that equipment out there at that airport in Burns. And that's just my estimate. I don't know if it's true or not. Like I said, that's unconfirmed.
Yeah, I think, the Bundys got whatever, every single one of them needs to face felony charges and time in jail. It's ridiculous.
Any reason? What's your perspective on this? Do you know why this occurred in the first place? I'm up to speed on it, but I'd like your opinion.
I'm from Los Angeles, California, and I just been kind of seeing it here and there. But yeah, from what I been watching, it's mostly the Bundys pretty much they're saying that they're
their constitutional rights, that their federal is federal government's encroaching on their land and paying higher taxes to ranch and stuff like that, and it's all just a bunch of hypocritical bullshit, in my opinion, to go up there with a bunch of guns and occupy some building and just, threaten like you're not gonna put your guns down.
I got a question that is off topic. There is actually something going on in your area right now. Are you aware of what Aliso Canyon is? That gas leak going on in Aliso Canyon?
Yeah, I know exactly what I said. Yeah.
Yeah. What have you heard about that? I'm actually watching that myself. I hate to get off topic from Oregon, but I'd like to know more of what you know.
I'm not actually very too far away from it.
Have you seen nosebleeds, or have you been getting headaches, or know of anybody else that's been getting headaches?
I'm not close enough. And I've only seen, the thermal images, and just kind of facts that pretty much of how much pollution that's been given out since the leak is just insane. But as far as up in that canyon, I heard they relocating people. I don't know where the hell they're going to relocate everyone. There's nowhere to go for anyone.
I've actually
an expensive cleanup for sure.
I have actually heard reports that the people that have been relocated in to rent houses that are up for rent around the area, the Los Angeles area. That's what I've heard.
Maybe it's kind of it's a pretty up there. There's a lot of it's a pretty rich neighborhood, big houses. This is very suburban, but I don't know where they would find a bunch of open housing for these people.
Well, there's in every city, in every town, there's houses up for rent everywhere. So I'm pretty sure that's what happened with that, but that's unconfirmed. But back on to Oregon, are you aware that there's like lithium, natural gas, and uranium underneath the Hammond Ranch, and the Bureau of Land Management wanted that for China and Russia? Are you aware of that?
What, minerals?
Yeah, they wanted minerals.
Minerals?
They wanted to steal minerals from people who legally bought land. And the BLM was going to go in there and take those minerals by force.
Well, isn't it federal land?
No, it's on the Hammond Ranch out there. That's why all that is occurring. And it's because, and this is confirmed, it's because that grievances have went unheard and nobody's done anything about it, and this is allegedly been going on for 4 months.
Interject and bring out something?
Go ahead.
Pointer that I received.
Yeah.
Pointer that I received it was Clinton, Miss Clinton, went ahead and sold the uranium to Russia, and the objection that was brought out that they can make bombs to use against us. The other issue that the subsidiary of the military from China is she sold the mineral rights under that area to them.
Yeah, but they're not going to bomb us, right?
Well, we don't know that, but with America going ahead continually trying to start a war with them, yes, there's a possibility.
It's a complete quagmire. I mean, if for some reason any of China, Russia, whoever bombed us, that would just be the most ridiculous thing. That would be a total apocalypse as far as fighting. That's a war not even worth starting.
What Russia is currently wanting to do right now, and this is completely unconfirmed because it comes from Facebook, is Russia, Vladimir Putin himself wants to bring the truth of 9/11 to light. And that's all he wants to do. He doesn't want to bomb anybody. He wants to bring truth out. And that's going to be powerful enough for him.
Hey, if he can prove it, that'd be great. But you know, as far as it goes, I think they're a big power in this country. I mean, in this world, and they need to be recognized and not shut down as some sort of enemy. Times have changed.
No, when I was in school, they were teaching that the Reds and the ones that were taking us over was the Russians. They were brainwashing us, and they said that the Chinese were going to take us all over and overwhelm us, and they were taking over properties, different countries and everything. And the one that was doing it was the USA. Period.
Yeah, we've done much worse shit to
The world.
Chinese, to the Russians as far as sanctions. I mean, we have no way to talk. It's all about perspective. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Supposedly the United States is enemy of all countries because we're going around starting wars with everyone, and just for profit.
Big time, exactly. We've been doing it for years.
Well, way back before they got to this country, they were raping the mineral sources of the Native Americans here, and it was ordered, if you look up on the internet, by the Queen of England to eliminate all natives from this land. Period.
Yeah, exactly. Since the very beginning, we've been doing it.
And the first biowarfare was smallpox. Now, what they're doing is the chemtrails dropping massive doses of heavy disease, micro-radiation, microwave, and like I'm saying, how does it feel to be the new Native American?
I'm not to disagree with the chemtrail whole hoax idea.
Look,
it's not a hoax. No,
it's not a hoax. If you go on YouTube and look up Last Chance in New York, a chemtrail pilot was actually writing it in the sky.
Yeah, but do you know what contrails and chemtrails are?
There is a difference, yes.
Okay. Now, do you understand that there are different atmospheres in the sky when you're flying an airplane? That reason that people think that chemtrails stick around a lot longer than contrails.
And I've actually seen a YouTube video of somebody taking a video on a plane, which at that time you weren't supposed to, but they did anyway, and they were dumping something into the sky right off the right wing.
Yeah, that's been debunked.
I guess they were dumping fuel or something.
Now look under a depopulation agenda of the New World Order.
Listen, as far as contrails and the whole chemtrail things, they're not dropping, like they don't have some sort of agenda that you're thinking of. But I will agree, okay, there's thousands of flights going through the sky every single day. It is contrails, it's condensation coming off the jet engine and the jet fuel burns in the sky. Whether that's, you want to call that, poisoning, us or whatnot, that's still something. Burning jet fuel out in the atmosphere is still something that's not great for the environment.
Well, we're not talking about jet.
But as far as doing it on purpose, as it's been tagged chemtrails, is maybe some tests here or there have been done, but this is no way that's just ridiculous. As far as contrails though, that burning, airline, it's just the same thing with cars. All the exhaust coming from the car is ruining the environment. It's the same thing with planes, with jet fuel. So,
let me ask you: are you aware of a radio show called Coast to Coast AM? It's on YouTube. Check it out sometime.
No, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm aware of that. But like I'm saying, a contrail is when the fuel dissipates in the air. But a chemtrail is all the chemical droppings that they've been dropping. Even some of the Russians that I'm acquainted with are aware of it. Period. But like I'm saying,
contrails or condensation.
I understand that. But the thing is, I'm going to tell you one thing. Is a lot of they drop that here on a regular basis, and whenever they're dropping microwave radiation over us, there's a crisscross pattern in the air.
Also, there was a weather report out of Oregon somewhere where the weatherman went on there and said, "Look at this radar. This is not precipitation. This is some sort of what is it? Aluminum. They were dropping aluminum for some reason."
I also got a copy.
Who do you think is actually in charge of this? What is the reasoning behind dropping chemicals and aluminum over certain skies?
All right, two things. One, it's private corporations that are doing this, subsidized by the government. Wow. I never thought I'd hear myself say that again, but everything's subsidized by the government nowadays, and it's wrong. And number two, they're doing that for population control under UN Agenda 21 and UN Agenda 2030.
Population control? I mean, how is that population control?
I'll give you an example. Go ahead and start looking at individual cities and look at the obituaries and look at the death rates increasing every day and every people. I get a lot of reports from people from all over the states, and they're telling me they're surprised and amazed of the amount of people that has increased in death rates.
So do you have target cities?
I've got look at Big Springs, Texas. Look at Florida, Naples. Look at Alpine, Texas, Fort Davis, Texas, and look at Marfa, Texas. Them are small populated areas, but there have never been so many deaths there. And this has been information was being given to me by the funeral parlor people that take care of the death of the people. Okay, and that's just locally.
So what makes private corporations that are subsidized by the government want to kill off people in Texas?
They want money. It's all about greed everywhere. Greed is everywhere, and it's in control right now. We've got to break it free.
I totally agree, but what way would greed come with this if people are dying?
Okay, if I may.
Can I elaborate on one thing?
Sure, go ahead.
As far as population control, that's not going to help with anybody buying anything.
Oh yeah. Listen. Okay, I went in and did a blog several years ago. I believe it's 2009, and brought up the fact that government makes the drugs. They make the drugs and they sell them to the top pharmaceutical companies. Okay, they have them imported. They come in from Thailand, and other areas. They bring these illegal drugs in the country.
Pharmaceuticals are not made by the government. Pharmaceuticals are made by different companies all across the world.
And if I may, pharmaceutical companies are also subsidized by the government.
Okay, so they pawn them off to the big pharmaceutical
providing them, so they are definitely making lots of money.
They pawn those off to the big pharmaceutical companies, and then they put them down to the pushers, the doctors, that push them out, period. And then, like I'm saying, is the chemtrails that we're talking about is the diseases they drop to make the people sick. So the people can go ahead and go to the doctor to get these drugs that the pharmaceutical companies are pushing out.
So why wouldn't they just do it?
That's where the money making is.
Why don't they just do it to the pills in general?
They do. They also do it like that, but they want to get a full spectrum going on. So if people are sick, people go to the doctor. Doctors get money. Doctors also write pharmaceuticals out. And A leads to B, B leads to C, and C leads back to A again.
Yeah, And don't forget, I've seen it.
What's the point though? I'm trying to get
when they make money.
Reasoning for to go around in circles like that.
It's money. Money's the root of all evil.
So they're gonna poison certain places in Texas.
If I may,
That's what it seemed like. As far as
if I may,
the only areas that are getting hit are in different small areas in Texas. Then who decides that, and what's the end game?
if I may, I want to offer up a perfect example. If you are one of these chemtrail companies or a plane operation company that is in charge of running planes wherever, and I'm the government, and I come to you and say, I'm going to give you $30 million to spray chemicals. And I'm not going to tell you what chemicals you're spraying. I'm just saying, here's $30 million. Will you spray chemicals? And not tell anybody about it. The first some people will say no, but then they push it. Then they push it a little further. And then finally, they get all the money and they don't breathe a word about it.
And then a lot of these chemicals cause cancer, period. And what's the major problem with people nowadays? Cancer. I'm getting a lot of intestinal cancer, bone cancer, pancreas cancer. A lot of these things are because of what they're dropping on the people, but the people aren't aware of it, okay? Because they don't see it, they don't know what it is. Another example is sulfur dioxide. Are you aware what sulfur dioxide does?
Not me personally.
I used to live in an area up in Northern California, about San Francisco, approximately about 125 miles away. The sulfur dioxide, we used to have birds, and I used to see it in people. And it actually causes cancer in the female area of the females, growth tumors, also tumors inside the intestinal tract and also in the lungs. And you get brain tumors from that. So we used to go ahead and do biopsies of the bird that we had, and we used to find this in them because of that area. When I was down here in New Mexico and Texas, I used to smell them dropping sulfur dioxide in the air all the way coming down to the ground. I identified it immediately. Friends of mine used to look, so they used to collect the rainwater, and they said, I'm getting this yellow substance inside my water. I don't know what it is. It's been dropped from the airline. So we checked it out. It was sulfur dioxide.
Yeah, that's also a natural commodity with rainfall.
If I may,
that's just pollution in general. There's tons of stuff floating up around in our skies that has nothing to do with.
Speaking of,
you're talking about paying someone off 30 whatever. I mean, the fact that it has not come up whatsoever is, unbelievable.
Speaking of cancer-causing chemicals, Aliso Canyon, that leak up there, they are the chemicals that they put in where you can smell the gas. Well, apparently those are also cancer-causing agents.
They've been dropping a lot of the prohibited things that we used to buy in the market from, like the feed stores. To go ahead and
you can't smell what's coming out of Aliso Canyon.
They used to drop those things they were dropping those, using them to drop them in the air. Also, this government doesn't say. They have I heard them say that they weren't producing any warfare weapons. Well, they have two companies that are producing anthrax in Mexico. Okay, them companies are American-owned.
It's the number one maker of biowarfare.
And they want to stop everybody else from making biowarfare? Does that make sense?
Actually, it does, because they want to corner the market in biowarfare, but everybody else ain't going to listen. They're still going to do their thing.
Well, they want to invade other countries for, having atomic warfare, but like I'm saying, they still have it. But they sure don't invade Russia, or they don't invade China, or Korea.
Well, we broke our own rules when we invaded Iraq with some of the rockets enriched for uranium that would was able to it was almost like a difference to napalm, which was banned after Vietnam. Yet it's pretty much the same thing. Once it enters a building or house and explodes, it sucks up all the oxygen and burns people from the inside out. But yeah, we're using that, and it's leaving long, big trails behind, and wherever it was used. So yeah, we're fighting wars against people, dictators that are supposedly killing their own people with biological stuff, and then we're going in there and killing all them with our biological shit. So it's all the fucking quagmire, in my opinion. There's who's got the best.
And notice another thing on the chemtrails. I want to tell you one thing. They start dropping them approximately just about 4 or 5 days before the full moon or the new moon, and then 5 days after. Pay attention to that.
I'm gonna start paying attention.
If you remember the crisscross motion, because it means they're dropping microwaves, and that means you don't want to use
with the crisscross motion. Because then I think that because a lot of people the chemtrail, whatever, that's just a theory has come out in the last few years. And everybody's defense is like, oh, well, I never saw those, like up there before or for that long. But I mean, I looked back at old photographs and everything. Especially, I have quite a couple that I took out in Joshua Tree National Park and out here on the west coast of contrails, making grid, like you were saying, grid forms that, yeah, I mean, this is like we're talking 20 years ago, so, I mean, I just don't believe it, because that's just that evidence that stuff was still happening 20 years ago, and I don't think that they, had the advancements as far as doing that. Back then, I think it's just people kind of playing into a story, and then it keeps going and going.
Oh yeah.
Well, don't remember that the biowarfare that was created was AIDS. And if you look it up, you'll find that it was created as a biowarfare weapon. You could drop over any city and cause the virus to go through.
Yeah, well, most main big viruses are man-made, like especially AIDS. But the thing is it just got out of control. There's no way. I mean, we're not smart enough to be able to control this kind of shit. So it gets brought up, and then that's just how it goes. I mean, there's no. I mean, you can't possibly think that like the U.S. government or of any government. I mean, we were on #1 spotlight. Everybody's watching us. So everybody's watching us. What we're doing and shit, and we can get away with sneaky ass shit. I don't think so.
Well, when you're referring to what AIDS was, it can't be controlled, are you saying it can't heal a person with AIDS? Is that what you're saying?
No, I was saying that it was a breakout of the man-made,
It's true. The AIDS virus was man-made. It's true.
Hey, anybody have any idea if Pete's getting a bail or what?
No, we still, to our understanding, he's still detained. We have been watching the chat, waiting and hoping for information, but most of everybody that was arrested has not, there's no bail for him. And that is suspicious as all hell.
Oh, yeah. All right, that's all I was wondering. Sorry to interrupt you guys.
All right.
Now, normally the procedure for bail is normally as soon as they see that judge, he's got to go ahead and put some bail number. If he's bailed, he's wrong. He's got to go to court, and so I don't know what order they're looking at, but they got to be brought to court right away within a couple days, 2-3 days.
Last check, he is just being detained by the FBI, and under the under the Patriot Act, they can detain anybody indefinitely.
Well, yeah, that's true there. Period. But it also violates the Constitution.
Oh yeah.
In other words, you have to go ahead and bring that issue up. Okay, that's the constitutional violation. You can't just keep people in there. And as far as it can go, well, they say since since Roosevelt, well, we've been under martial law, but like I'm saying, there's no imposition of martial law at this time that I know of.
Well, they've already released what they're charging all of them with.
What'd they say?
I said they already released what they're charging them all with, and it is kind of strange to me, and it will obviously play out in the next few days of.
Somebody just posted Deb is live on Talk Network. I'm going to tune into Talk Network and see what's up.
Say again?
Somebody just posted that Deb is live on Talk Network. So I'm going to get on there. I'm going to get on there and see what's up.
Okay.
I got this number from a video on YouTube, and I obviously didn't get the same person that made the video because, like I said, it was a bunch of, like I said, whiny militia guys that were complaining about some girl getting thrown down.
Let me give you my phone number so if you want to reach me. Are you there?
Yeah, we're here.
Okay, White Eagle. White Eagle Herb. Native Herb. White Eagle Native Herbs .net. The tweet.
White Eagle at White Eagle Native Herbs.
White Eagle at White Eagle Native Herbs .net. And then I'll give you my phone number in case you need a call. Or that information you may need. 575.
Who am I talking to, by the way?
Mark White Eagle.
Could you repeat that number?
575 910 0849. And give me your name, please.
I'm Bill from Texas.
Bill from Texas. Well, I'm Mark from Texas.
I'm from San Antonio, personally.
Near Alpine.
And I actually have really no idea what this program is that I'm even talking about. I'm calling in, but my name is Mark from Los Angeles, California. And if you want my phone number, it's area code 818-425-3217. And I would be definitely happy to talk about shit.
You sound like you're from the valley.
Do I have a California Valley accent?
Exactly. No, it's the area code.
What?
That's the area code last I knew about.
Oh, yeah, 818 San Fernando Valley. Okay.
San Fernando Valley, right?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. I used to live in Agora Hill.
All right, I'm about like a stone's throw away from there.
In Hollywood.
And what made you leave?
Air pollution.
I hear it's bad out there in California.
Extreme.
Yeah, traffic. How much it costs to fucking own an apartment. Also, it's pretty bad.
All right, there.
Can someone explain to me real quickly about what this program is that I called in?
It is usually the Pete Santilli show, But Pete Santilli's been arrested, so the show is not operating at the moment. But we're just trying to keep the heartbeat alive.
I think they took him out because they wanted him to quit talking too much.
Well, now they got us talking.
They wanted to shut him up, so that's why they arrested him. And they did it without reason. There was no reason to arrest him.
Hey, talking about, I'm looking at the YouTube thing, Pete Santilli.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, we're all there. We're all watching chat right now.
Okay, right. Okay, this is Bill I was talking to? Bill?
Yeah, Bill from Texas.
Okay, well, you know Mark. Mark from Alpine, Texas.
I'm going to have to get out there sometime.
No, like I said, I do a lot of healing, got a lot of eradication of cancer, bone cancer, impossible cases, Ebola virus cases. Don't forget that. Brain encephalitis cases. I'm getting a lot of spinal meningitis cases. I get them all well quick. And they see an immediate reaction. Bone pain, arthritis pain, osteoarthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, gout, anything like that. Any curable diseases that the doctors can't get you well with, I got all the medicines for. Eradication of tumors is one of the newest ones I got. It blows tumors out within minutes in the body.
What? That... I guarantee you this is not off the hook in the morning. This has got to be a rebroadcast. Alright, I'm seeing if there's any new information. Fox News Radio, come on.
You know about Fox News, huh?
Yeah, and all the big media.
They used to plagiarize from all my blogs I used to write.
Fox News is part of the problem.
Yeah, I know. They're not real.
I don't want to hear this fucking Fox bullshit. Excuse my French.
That's true. Okay, I'll sign off, Bill. Nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you.
Take care.
You too. And God bless. Anyway, I'm going to sign off for today myself, and I'm going to be calling in at 5 a.m. tomorrow, just like usual. I hope to see everyone here, and I hope to talk to everyone again. Y'all have a good day, and God bless you all. Alrighty then. I am that concludes the interview with Mark White Eagle that I conducted. Uh, Personally, that was a great interview, and that was the start to my enlightenment. And as I put in the description, I personally recorded this on January 28th, 2016. Later, Cloves. Uh, but this this was very enlightening when I first. I wish I had Facebook. Anyway, it was a very enlightening speech, and yes, there is information that everyone needs to look up. If we can't sit here and tell you that all this information is real. Some of it is, some of it isn't. I leave it to you to go on Google and decide and do the research for yourself. Because the real information is key on getting it out fluently, precisely, and timely. If we keep it going, and the conversation must stay alive. Everybody's got to switch out every now and then, but the conversation must stay alive. But anyway, I appreciate everyone who joined us today. We had a good turnout. We were sitting up at 15 people for a time. I do appreciate everyone for joining the live stream. Well, it wasn't really live. It was pre-recorded, but still, thanks for being here. I hope you'll all learned a lot. And this, after I get done editing this, I got to do some editing. There's some personal information I don't want getting out from people. But this video will probably make its way out on my YouTube publicly, say maybe tomorrow or something. It all depends. But if y'all have information that y'all want out there, drop a comment in one of my videos. I'd be glad to respond. Just say, hey, you want to talk to me, and then I will try to find a way to get a hold of you. It won't be a problem for me. But anyway, I do appreciate y'all's time and out of your day for joining me, all 10 of you now. Thank you again, and this is Toasted signing off. Peace.